But first, it's World Children's Day, and we want to use this as an opportunity, pause and reflect on whether our children are getting the kind of learning that really prepares them for the future. This morning, we're shining a spotlight on one of the many initiatives that aims to do just that, the NIPUN Bharat Mission. At the heart of this mission is the vision that shifts focus from just going to school to truly learning and building strong foundations at the right age. The mission, National Initiative for Proficiency in Reading with Understanding and Numeracy, was launched in 2021 under National Education Policy, NEP 2020. It aims to ensure that every child learns fundamental reading, writing and math skills by the age of 9 years, that is by the end of grade 3, across states and districts. But why is getting the right foundational learning at the right age so crucial? Because if children don't pick up basics early, future learning becomes harder. Science, math, languages, even confidence for that matter. Early learning sets the tone for the rest of their academic journey, and so we will be touching upon this all-important conversation. And why did India really need this learning reset? For years, India has celebrated high enrollment, more children in schools than ever, but many were still reaching higher classes without basic skills. Then the pandemic hit, widening gaps, especially in rural and low-income communities. NIPUN Bharat shifted the focus from schooling to real learning to fill in this gap. And there's solid science behind choosing grade 3 as the cutoff, which we'll go across to our guests for more. Between age 3 to 8, a child's brain learns the fastest. Before grade 3, children learn to read. After class 3, they read to learn. That's how it plays out. If they're missing this window, future learning becomes much harder. Neuroscience also calls this the inflection point where lifelong learning paths are. Real question is, how is it actually playing out on the ground? To give us that perspective, we're joined on the Breakfast Club by Shaveta Sharma-Kukreja, CEO and MD of Central Square Foundation, a non-profit foundation which supports the NIPUN Bharat Mission. Also with us in the studio is Vinita, Tyagi, a state resource group member from Ghaziabad for CSF with nearly 2 decades of experience as a teacher for children, foundational literacy and numeracy grades 1 to 3. Let's bring them in. They're with us in the studio. Thank you so much for being with us. Shaveta ji, sabse pehle, let's begin with the basics. Why was this need felt to come up with something called FLN? What is the concept of foundational learning and why did it not exist before 2021?
So the basic need, like you've already articulated, is that all children at the very first step of their school education journey should be able to read with meaning and do basic math, plus, minus, multiply and divide. In many ways, this is not just the foundation of cognitive development. These are really life skills. Yeah. We're a proud digital country. We're a country of direct benefit transfers. The way we transact life, not being able to read with meaning and understand basic math operation is not just important for a child's academic success, but later for their ability to live life as a citizen in the country. Historically, what has happened is, rightfully so, after India gained independence and started prioritizing education as a core social issue, the focus was on building schools and driving enrollment. Even after the migration displacement over COVID, we are back to almost all our children being in school. So India does very good on enrollment. But unfortunately, the focus on whether our children are learning or not came later. There have been repeated assessments done by the government, by the civil society. Till as recent as 2018, ASER, which has been one of the longest running learning surveys, showed only about 21% children in grade 3 can read a grade 2 text, can do a grade 2 math problem. So children were in school, schooling was not being equal to learning. India is ambitious about what we want to be as Viksit Bharat. The demographic dividend will only get tapped when we solve for school education. And you start by getting the first step right. And that's where NEP 2020 radically prioritized early learning and the Ministry of Education launched the NIPUN Bharat Mission.
Okay, lovely. Ms. Vinita, tell us now about the execution on ground. So how is a FLN course or an FLN classroom any different than a normal classroom? What are the key differences there and how have you seen that impact on children when they're using that kind of a curriculum every day?
Look, we are seeing a major difference. If we talk about the earlier classroom transactions and the present classroom transactions, it's totally different. आज आप देखेंगे we have so much of learning material to be provided in the classroom, and the most important thing is that the teacher is transforming the classroom now. It's all because of the material, high quality material, useful material being provided in the classroom, not for the teacher as well as for the students also. The learning has become a fun in the classroom now. So this is the major change which has been like the credit goes to the FLN mission only. They have triggered the things, they have felt this thing that how we can change the pedagogy of the classroom, we can change the atmosphere of the classroom, कि लर्निंग एक फन की तरह से हो रही है, बच्चों को नहीं पता चल रहा कि उनको पढ़ाया जा रहा है.
और आपने रिएक्शन देखा है बच्चों में?
Yes,
they
of course.
responded in a far more, I'm looking forward to my classroom suddenly.
Yes,
I'm looking
of course.
forward to my classes. The subjects that I was running away from, that's changing for me. Have children come to you and said that?
Of course, ma'am. If we frequently we are visiting the schools, so now they knows us कि oh ये वाली ma'am आए हैं, तो they comes and say, ma'am, today what we are going to learn with this, and the teachers, those who are having a variety of teaching learning materials, print rich material, it is so फन लर्निंग कि बच्चे जो हैं उस चीज़ को इतना एंजॉय करते हैं, एंड दिस इज़ द मेन अचीवमेंट ऑफ आवर प्रेजेंट लर्निंग सिनेरियो कि लर्निंग इज़ अ फन. The classrooms are, the classroom teaching learning process is getting transformed, and this is the main thing where this is our main achievement we can say कि हम लोग आज टीचिंग लर्निंग को एक काम नहीं है, ये एक ऐसा प्रोसेस बन गया है जिसको टीचर भी इंजॉय कर रहा है, बच्चा भी इंजॉय कर रहा है. तो दिस इज़ द यू कैन से द ऑरा ऑफ दिस, द क्लासरूम्स, द स्कूल्स ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, दिस ऑल यू सी, जो कि शायद पहले कहीं ना कहीं हम मिस कर रहे थे.
Shaveta, tell us a little bit about the partnership here. So CSF is working with several state governments. What is that collaboration like, and how is it being taken forward to ensure that this initiative reaches as many schools across the country, states, districts, to the last mile?
CSF works as a catalytic partner both with central government and state government. For NIPUN Bharat, we support 11 state governments. Our role is to help states take the guidelines of the mission, design and deploy a high quality mission. I think Vinita ma'am has already touched upon the aspects. I'll just lay out what the guidelines are and what that engagement looks like. The most special call out in NIPUN Bharat mission is the focus on teaching, learning, the resources and the material. The mission has 2,700 crore per year allocated, out of which there is 500 rupees per child per year for teaching learning material. Now, how does a state take these guidelines, integrate it into their academic program? As CSF, the stakeholders we work with is the Department of Education, which is typically headed by the Education Secretary. There's the Samagra Shiksha Office, which coordinates the funding for the mission with the central government. And at state level, there are institutions called SCERTs, the State Council of Education, Research and Training, which is the academic authority on the curriculum and the pedagogy. What we do is work with the stakeholders to help them design a mission which is relevant to the context of their states. It's done in consultation with teachers, state resource group leaders like Vinita ma'am, and it's relevant to the context. We always talk about diversity in terms of languages.
Yeah.
India has 22 official languages, but we have 121 languages spoken by more than 10,000 people in the country. And if we are talking early learning, we want to be able to reach all our children in languages in which they are familiar. So from giving a visible face to what we mean by NIPUN, you'll be surprised, but till some years ago, we did not necessarily have a shared articulation on what should early grade look like. It might feel simple that I'm bringing it down only to samajh ke padna, reading with understanding and basic arithmetic, but these are really the fundamental infrastructure on which future learning happens. Setting the goals which are relevant for the language and the context, making sure there's relevant teaching learning material for teachers, There's focus on lesson plans and teacher guides. So as a teacher, you're making my responsibility easier and getting the necessary support.
So you're focusing as much on the teachers
As well as the classroom.
as you're
Absolutely.
focusing on the students.
Absolutely. And a core infrastructure to support all of this is assessments, to make sure that when we do formative assessments within the classroom, when there are summatives run at the end of the term, teachers are also able to identify what the learning gaps are, and we can give support to the children during the academic year. In the past, what has happened is, it's very late by the time we realize our children are not learning. And then we get caught up in what is called a remediation game.
Is that also a challenge? Because typically it's very difficult to pick on how much a child is being able to absorb when he or she are in grade 3?
So while it is difficult, but a big part of a teacher's job is to what's called a CFU, check for understanding. You know, I should do I should have a sense of, is my class keeping pace with where we need to be from a curriculum perspective, from a learning outcomes perspective. One of the biggest contributions that NIPUN did was define a learning outcome framework, define what those micro competence. A child will not read with meaning one fine day. The child will start with letter awareness. Then there are technical terms called decoding and blending. दो शब्दों को जोड़ के कैसे पढ़ना है, समझ के कैसे पढ़ना है. Knowing at what micro competency, at what sub competency my children need support, giving that support along the year, so that when the child moves from grade 1 to grade 2, all my children are competent per the grade level.
Vinita ji, share some examples with us. You did tell us briefly that we've made learning a lot more fun. But how have you made learning a lot more fun? कोई example दीजिए कि बच्चों के लिए ये और interesting और engaging कैसे हो गया है?
देखिए, पहले क्या होता था, जो टीचिंग लर्निंग प्रोसेस होता था वो यूजुअली स्कूल से स्टार्ट होता था और क्लासरूम में आके एंड हो जाता था. बाय द टाइम दैट स्टूडेंट इज गोइंग होम, ही इज बैक एट होम. तो अब जो आप चेंज देखेंगे, देयर इज अ वेरी गुड एग्जांपल. रिसेंटली अभी हमारे यहाँ मुरादनगर में डिडौली में एक स्कूल है. देयर इज अ गर्ल चाइल्ड राहत इन क्लास 2nd ओनली. So she enjoyed these kind of teaching learning process in the classrooms के अब वो इतना into है इन सब चीज़ों में कि she has taken that learning experience towards her home also. Like at home now just imagine the parents who are being motivated with their own child to learn how to read and how to write. She is teaching her own mother to read and to write. So this is the thing which this is our the most the experience that we are seeing, that classroom experiences at home also. बच्चे घर पे जा रहे हैं, they are sharing their things कि we are doing this, we are studying with the smart class, we are having that kit and we have so much learning corners are there. So ये सब चीज़ें जब वो अपने पेरेंट्स से एक्सपीरियंस शेयर कर रहे हैं ना मैम, तो this is the different kind of thing which is like earlier we were missing. Earlier the school was a place only for study, the home was the place only for playing and just having rest.
So are you seeing that change translate into parental queries? For instance, any parent who's now enrolling their child in a school, do you see them now asking, you know, is FLN a priority for the school? Do you see that kind of awareness already?
Ma'am, actually in our district, our CDO sir has started an initiation for model PTMs we have started. So I would like to give an example of a school. In these model PTMs, sir has started making them more impactful, like invitation cards are being made on the, like Saturday generally we have half of the day for these kind of extracurricular things. So that day they make the invitation cards for the parents, and the card has been given, they have been given to the different parent, not like the my son is giving card and to me only. No, that cards have been shuffled and given to the different parents for the invitation of PTM. And in PTM, like there is no such PTM के आपका बच्चा ऐसे कर रहा है, ये कर रहा है, नहीं. We have so many extra things. We have walkathon in the school itself. They are seeing their children studying on smart classes, doing work on the smart board, and they are handling in ICT classrooms when they are sitting and doing work on laptops and desktop, and the parents are taking pics of their children just imagine the things they are showing it to their parents and their relatives and sharing and putting status of such kind of things. So this thing which proves that we have achieved something very great.
Shaveta, is diversity a challenge? Because that one thing comes with every program that we're curating in our country. It's a diverse country. We're looking not just at metropolitan cities, we're looking at several states, across districts, village level to a certain extent. How is it that this program is being curated without compromising on quality, for instance, given the diversity which is out there?
Yeah. No, I mean, in a country as large as India and in an education system as complex as ours, diversity has to be one of the core design factors from day one. The vision with which the Ministry of Education has launched NIPUN is for it to successfully reach and create an impact in every government classroom with every government school teacher and student, right? So we are not just talking urban, we are talking rural, we are talking tribal, we are talking schools which also might not necessarily have all the infrastructure support system that needs. Because the mission is getting anchored by the central bodies at the state level, right? The SCRT, the Samagra Shiksha, the department. It factors in the language diversity, it factors in the context from which our children come from. Vinita ma'am already spoke about parents being a very important stakeholder. For early education to be successful, it has to become what the government and the sector calls a Jan Andolan. We need more aware parents who not only responsibly enroll their children, regularly send the children to school, show up for engagements like parent-teacher meetings, school management committees. Those dialogues also create the spaces for that diversity to get a visible name and for it to get addressed, whether it's in teaching learning practices, whether it's even in continuous training and professional development of our teachers and education functionaries. Because part of the diversity challenge also is where I come from as a teacher versus the students where they come from, there tend to be differences. And how does continuous engagement with the community, with the teachers in their training and professional development make that content deeper and relevant?
So is it too soon to comment on the success rate of NIPUN Bharat Mission, given it's just been 4 odd years and the deadline was set for 26-27? Do you think more time is needed? How have you weighed in on the kind of impact this mission and how far it reaches is going to eventually have on our economic and social trajectory? Give us data, back it with facts a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, just to put it in terms of data, right? Like by 2047, which will be 100 years of India's independence, if we look at the global workforce, 1 in every 4 will be an Indian. So we are not just contributing to the Indian economy, we are contributing to the global economy. No economic aspiration, no social issue, even if we talk in terms of sustainable development goals, gets solved unless India rises to the occasion. So that's just to give the context of how critical it is. You're absolutely right, 4 years does seem a little early to be talking about success, but I'll quote our Honorable Education Minister when Dharmendra Pradhan ji at the 4th anniversary celebration of the New Education Policy 2020. I'm literally quoting his words. He said, early signs ab dikhne lage hain. So we are not saying that a 4-year mission in a country which has 26.5 crore school-going children, we are not at a stage to declare victory, but we have reached a stage where all the changes from the learning outcome framework to teaching learning material to teacher training and capacity building. And I'll again quote 2 of the largest data assessments that happen on student learning. ASAR for the first time in 2024 showed a positive trend in terms of, I quoted the statistics from 2018 at about 21%. Both on literacy and numeracy, we saw a positive trend at a country level. The Government of India itself, NCRT, conducts a national assessment. The 2024 results for grade 3 showed an improvement. The numbers went up to 64% and 67% for language and math. And data shows that our grade 3 children showed better improvement than grade 6 and grade 9. So the focus on early learning of NEP 2020 under NIPUN Bharat Mission is showing green shoots of progress. And the government has actively been engaging on the idea of continuing the mission beyond the first 5 years. So exciting times, but will need sustained effort.
Yeah, we'll need sustained effort to keep up the momentum. And track the long-term progress and growth here.
Yes.
Vinita ji, just to make it again very relatable to every parent who's tuned in, everyone watching this, give us an example of a student whose progress stood out for you. Can be one, can be two, and what kind of challenges were they sort of putting out to their teachers in the beginning, and how has that changed for good? एक एग्जाम्पल दीजिए, उदाहरण दीजिए, ताकि लोगों को भी समझ आए, हाँ ऐसा चेंज दिख रहा है.
देखिए, फॉर क्लास सेकेंड आई कोटेड द राहत. In not in any class, fundamental classes, foundational classes, we have so many examples. Like there's a school in Loni block, Gadi Kataiya, and there's a teacher also, Miss Ruby is there. हमारे वहाँ पे आप देखेंगे up to the class 8th, the students are driving into the societies so many things. मेरा नाम मेरे पहचान. Like writing is, how writing is important. A girl child is there, she has taught her grandmother of 90 years to write her name, and she goes to the pension office now, and instead of putting thumb impressions, she is writing her name. And the story was also published in Times of India. So ऐसे there are so many examples where the parents feel so proud to be part of our system now. और जो सबसे मेन चीज़ ये है कि इस पूरे FLN प्रोग्राम ने हमारे टीचर्स को इतना एम्पावर किया है, इतना गाइडेड,
और काम भी बढ़ा दिया शायद.
नहीं टीचर्स का. ये पता है, ये एक टेबल के उस तरफ वाला थॉट प्रोसेस है. बीइंग अ टीचर, बिकॉज वी आर ऑल्सो द टीचर्स, वी आर गोइंग टू द schools, we are doing the classrooms, we are doing even teaching also. So you must have heard the term TG, Sandarshika, ठीक है, teacher guide. It is so resourceful कि now our whole 1 year planning has been divided into weeks. अब पहले ऐसा नहीं होता था. पहले होता था आपका half yearly, half of the syllabus being covered, then half yearly exams, then the child is going to be evaluated or assessed at the end of the 6 months. But it's not now, it's not like this. We have weekly projects, 25 week, the whole syllabus has been divided, and the whole week is divided into 3 days of teaching. One is for revision, and one is for assessment, and one is for remediating the students who are being left, पीछे छूट रहे हैं उन बच्चों को. उसी दिन जो छूटा, जितना छूटा, उसको उतना ही रेमेडियल उसी टाइम पर, उतना शॉर्ट में जब मिल रहा है, तो उतना जल्दी ही वो अपने उसको कोप कर पा रहा है. तो दिस इज़ द ब्यूटी कि हमारी जो टीजीज हैं, दे आर सो मच अलाइन विद द बुक and workbook. Earlier, the teacher guides or the subject helping books were totally dependent upon the subject pedagogy. But now these modules, these teacher guides are based totally aligned with the book as well as with the workbook. Now the teacher doesn't have to go to the book separately, workbook separately.
So we opened our eyes to the reality on ground.
Yes.
It can't no longer be restricted to a set of rules which is not quite applicable. We've opened up to the idea of how things need to change, rules need to change given where we are and what kind of students are we looking at. Thank you so much. That's all the time we have. Thank you to the both of you for this wonderful conversation. It surely tells us that investment in students and children, our younger generation, can never go wrong. It's the only right kind of investment that we must keep focusing on.